Welcome back, everyone. We've made it. It's been a long and very exciting and incredible journey, but we are now at the very the last song on Jethro Tull's Benefit album. However, I think that it's a good idea to clarify some of my plans moving forward in regards to Jethro Tull. Because people talk about Living in the Past, compilation album that I need to check out, and I do plan on doing that album. So that, I believe, is the next album I'll be doing by Jethro Tull. But before I do that, there are also, I believe, songs on here, at least one song on here, that there were like two different versions of the album released, and there's like a song that I missed. So we're going to be going back and visiting that as well. But this is the technical end of the 10 songs that are on the album that I have. And I'm very excited to check it out. And at the end of this video, I'm going to look at the Wikipedia page for the actual album itself and just give my opinion on most of the album. Probably a brief opinion, but still. So yeah, we made it. Thank you all for joining me. If you're coming to this video and you have no idea what I'm talking about, hi, my name is Daniel. Here we react to music, and I've been through the entire Jethro Tull Benefit album song by song, and it's going to all go on a playlist. We listen to some great music and then talk about it and figure out what it's about, do research on it, all that good stuff. So, if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing if you enjoy this type of content, and if you don't, why are you watching this video? Let's get into it. Sossity, You're a Woman. That's the very last song. It's a little bit longer, which is cool. Got the lyrics pulled up. Let's go. 3, 2, 1. Love the organ. Oh yeah, it ties into Play in Time with the organ.
Hello, you straight-laced lady, dressed in white, but your shoes aren't clean. Painted them up with polish, in the hope we can see where you've been. The smiling face that you've worn to greet me rising at morning, send me out over for my score. Please me and say what it's for. Give me the straight-laced promise and not the pathetic lie. Tie me down with your ribbons and suck when I ask you why. Your Sunday paper voice cries, demanding truths I deny. The bittersweet kiss you pretended is offered. I'll repair it. Sossity, you're a woman. Society.
Oh, wow.
You're a woman.
Gonna pause it, bring it back. There might be a transition right there. Sorry if I paused it at a very bad place, but I just wanted to say I really like the acoustic feel of this song. It's like, I think this might be the first one on the whole album that had this this unified acoustic feeling to it. A lot of the rest of them were more rocky, so it's a cool little bit of variation on the album. Very interesting. So the entire I was going to say song and time. Okay. The entire time, I was thinking of everything literally until he said society. And now I think I understand what the song's about. But I'll talk more about that when we get to it. Let's continue. 3, 2, 1, Sossity, or Society. You're a woman. So pretty.
All of the tears you're wasting are for yourself and not for me. It's sad to know you're aging, sadder still to admit I'm free. Your immature physical toy has grown too young to enjoy. At last, your straight-laced agreements. Woman, you are too old for me. Sossity.
This song definitely painted a picture. Powerful ending. Very powerful ending to the album. There's another... How long is that? Is that just the end? Yeah, this song definitely painted a picture in my head. And obviously, I recently reacted to, or not that recently, but a while ago, I reacted to the entirety of Aqualung, and it's the way this song, what this song means, at least in my head, what it means, is kind of in line almost with like a My God type of ending, you know, for an album. So it's pretty interesting. Is it My God? Is that what it's called? Sorry, not My God. Wind Up. No, Wind Up. So yeah, at the beginning, I was thinking it was all very, you know, literal. I see. Okay, so there's a lady dressed in white, but your shoes aren't clean. Painted them up with polish in the hope that we can't see where you've been. The smiling face that you've worn to greet me rising at morning. Sent me out to work for my score. Please me and say what it's for. So he's talking to society as a whole. So he's like, you're pretending to be this great, wonderful thing, and like, I don't know, innocent thing almost. You're dressed in white. Your shoes have like a covering over them, you know, so we can't see where you've been. It's like there's a city. It reminds me of my thoughts about Thick as a Brick when I reacted to that. But it's like there's a city that looks on the outside to be a wonderful civil place, and then you look deeper and there's corruption rooted in the very foundation of it, you know? Or just nonsensical, like, what is this even? Which is what this feels more like. So they're like smiling. They're constantly encouraging you down there, the path that they've set out for you. Sent me out to work for my score. And he's like, just humor me for a minute. Tell me, what is it for? What am I doing? What is the point of this? So give me the straight-laced promise, not the pathetic lie. Tie me down with your ribbons and sulk when I ask you why. So it's like very comfortingly helpingly. It's trying to help. It comes with these false pretenses. It's like it's manipulating you basically, and then it ties you down. And then when he's like, "Why? What's the point?" It's like it doesn't answer. Your Sunday paper voice. It's like comparing. It's like equating society to a yeah, it's Sunday paper voice. So would that be like a someone who's obviously like religious, right? You're on your Sunday papers. We're giving out all this advice on how to live your life, and here's the path you need to go down. Demanding truths. So then the other person or society itself asks for the truth. Sunday paper voice. So it's a specific type of voice. It's like this preaching or entitled voice. Cries, demanding truths that I deny. The bittersweet kiss you pretend is offered. So then it's like, all right, I'm going to help you out now, or I'm going to try to make up with you, but it's fake. Sossity, you're a woman. Society, you're a woman. So is Sossity just like a weird way of saying society, or of like trying to take the word society and turn it into like a name? Anyway, all the tears you're wasting are for yourself and not for me. Society serves itself, obviously. It's sad to know you're aging. Sadder still to admit I'm free. All you gotta do is look at history to kind of know what that's talking about. All great civilizations eventually come to an end. And they split up into little factions, and sometimes there's these huge ones that hit the jackpot, and suddenly Alexander the Great has taken over the majority of the known world at the time, and then he dies, and then his family gets the land and splits it up amongst themselves, and then it keeps on splintering until, you see what I'm getting at. The civilizations will eventually all fall, so they grow older, and it's all constructs of the time you're living in almost. And he's free of it. And all humans are, really. Your immature physical toy has grown too young to enjoy. At last, your straight-laced agreement, woman, you were too old for me. So he's like, you know what? I'm leaving all this behind. Society, you're a woman. Okay. Interesting. What are the comments under this? Oh yeah, here we go. Sossity is a play on the word of society. It's not about a woman at all. He's damning society with this song. Okay, cool. He's saying the whole society is a messed up older person that clings to him and tries to control him and just pointlessly restricts him. He says society is too old for him. He's pretty much right. Individuals, when alone, are hopeless and terrified, but when they band together as a mob or a society, they become a scary monster or just a nasty old witch. Anyway, we all need to be a part of society, but secretly none of us like it. Ian walks away from it, and he finds it useless. Interesting. In the 2013 reissue of Benefit, Ian Anderson wrote in the liner notes, "This obviously is written as a double meaning where I'm notionally talking about an imaginary girl and frankly a rather thin and embarrassing pun. I suppose what I was referring to was a view of upper-class society where I suppose a bit of disdain that I might have felt for people who would display wealth and authority without having earned it." That's another, I didn't really have that. And he says, I'm a lefty at heart. I didn't even think of that. That's an interesting other side to it. These people who, again, that like entitlement almost to it. It's interesting. All right. So that was the final song on the album. It brings you down after the whole album has been like building, and this is it ends with a flourish, right? So let's take a look at the Wikipedia page. Benefit is the third studio album by the British rock band Jethro Tull, released in April 1970. It was the first Tull album to include pianist and organist John Evan, though he was not yet considered a permanent member of the group, and the last to include bass guitarist Glenn Cornick, who was fired from the band upon completion of touring the album. Frontman Ian Anderson says that he considers Benefit to be a much darker album than Stand Up, owing to the pressures of an extensive U.S. tour and frustration with the music business. Bassist Glenn Cornick stated that the band's intention was to capture a more live feeling, as I felt the last one sounded like a group of session musicians performing various songs. It was cold. Okay. I can kind of, I don't know if I entirely agree with that, but that's just me. Ian Anderson said that Benefit was a guitar riff album. Definitely. It recorded in a year in which artists like Cream, Jimi Hendrix, and Led Zeppelin were becoming more riff-oriented. He said it's a rather dark and stark album, and although it has songs on it that are okay, I don't think it has the breadth, variety, or detail that Stand Up has. But it was an evolution in terms of the band playing as a band. So this is what he considers Jethro Tull's bad work. Let me know if any of you agree with that, first of all. But second of all, if this is the bad work, well, we've had a bit of a taste, with stuff like Thick as a Brick, and yeah. But no way would I consider this this is a very, very solid album. I loved it. Like I said earlier, I also thought that it was very riff-oriented, which is apparently exactly what they were going for. And yeah, it was a little bit darker. I feel like, to me though, Aqualung felt darker than this, although of course it hadn't come out yet. But does he say this is what he considers to be his darkest album, or is that just a darker album than Stand Up? Yeah, it definitely is. Oh wow, critics were generally unimpressed with Benefit upon its release. Rolling Stone, what is with Rolling Stone? Okay. Rolling Stone called the album lame and dumb. Disc and Music Echo was also unimpressed, but recognized the band's quality. This album doesn't advance by such a drastic leap as Stand Up did from this was. It's more like the Jethro Tull we've seen and heard for the past year. It seems to be a remarkably long album and shows what an exciting group this is. Exciting because they can have quite long guitar breaks and still retain very tight and together sound. End quote. The Village Voice critic appreciated the riffs around which all the songs were constructed, but was taken away by the lyrics that he judged hard to recall. Okay then, interesting. AllMusic and Record Collector's much later reviews were more positive in accepting the album's style. Bruce Eder stated that most of the songs on Benefit display pleasant, delectably folk-like melodies attached to a downbeat, slightly gloomy, but dazzlingly complex lyrics, with Barr's guitar adding enough wattage to keep the hard rock listeners very interested. To Cry You a Song, Sun, and For Michael Collins, Jeffrey and Me all defined Tull's future sound. Barr's amp cranked up to 10, especially on Sun, coming in above Anderson's acoustic strumming, a few unexpected changes in tempo, and Anderson's spouting lyrics filled with dense, seemingly profound, well, it is profound, imagery and statements. Record Collector reviewer analyzing the collector's edition of 2013 praised the Steven Wilson remix and wrote, Benefit forms the perfect bridge between the rolling, tumbling Tull of old and the tightly braided riffs and prickly lyrics presented by Aqualung. Which, yes. Yeah, so, like I said, we've got a long way to go with Tull. Some people told me it'll be difficult for me to make a transition between this and into a Passion Play, which I think is the next album. It won't be, because first of all, I'm doing Living in the Past next. And secondly, because I listen to Aqualung and Thick as a Brick still on a regular basis. So, I'm still definitely going to be hearing that. It won't be just I go from listening to Benefit into an album 2 or 3 albums later. I will definitely re-listen to Aqualung at the very least and Thick as a Brick before diving into the next one, or the next major one. All right, so we've completed this journey. Thank you so much for joining me. Now I can make that playlist, check out the pin comment and all that, and thank you all for introducing me to Jethro Tull. I will be doing I think there's at least one song off this album that I didn't do yet, so I will be getting to that. Yeah. It is now very late, and I'm going to go to bed. I will see you all soon. Deathstroke 9, out. We are Legion.